So I just want to make sure I have this right, okay? Because you've explained this to me a couple times, and I'm going to now explain to you what I understand this lawsuit to be about. So this is the lawsuit where Elon Musk said to OpenAI, you said you were going to remain a nonprofit. You didn't keep your word. He sued them. OpenAI still became a for-profit, but Elon Musk still wants money from OpenAI because he says that you didn't keep your word.
That's right. That's exactly right. I mean, he
Okay.
has a long list of grievances against OpenAI, a number of ways that he feels that OpenAI hasn't kept its sort of promises to him that were made in the early days. The nonprofit structure was one of those, but there are other ways he feels they've departed from their kind of original charitable mission, including not open sourcing the technology. He feels that safety has become kind of deprioritized. So he has other grievances as well, but the sort of full transition to a for-profit structure is something that is definitely top of mind.
And so what happened at the courthouse yesterday?
So OpenAI was making a particular ask to the court. They were saying, we've figured out a lot of the facts of the case already. We've made a bunch of people who are close to OpenAI sit for depositions, including Sam Altman, Greg Brockman, Satya Nadella. We know the facts. OpenAI is saying, even if you interpret those facts in a way that's very generous to Elon Musk, still, as a legal matter, you're going to find that his case doesn't have any merit to it. So you can just make a call right now. Spare us the trouble, spare a jury, just toss
Save the
out these
time.
polls. Exactly, exactly. The judge ended up finding, to the contrary, she feels that all of the claims, there are 4 claims that Elon Musk still has that are sort of live at this stage in the trial. All of them rest on questions of fact that are matters for a jury to decide. So all 4 of them are set to go to a trial.
Okay. So this is going to trial. I want to ask you about why the average person should be paying attention to this story outside of the reasons that billionaires fighting each other is kind of fun to watch play out. As a reporter, how do you think about this? I mean, is this ultimately the idea that we could just learn a lot more about both sides of the story as, evidence comes out? I mean, you've done some reporting about how much money could actually change hands, and I think the answer is it's not as big as people thought. So why should we be paying attention to this?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, even in the most extreme situations where you get sort of a slam dunk win for Musk, maybe in that case the amount that OpenAI has to pay it could reach into the billions, but that's not going to break the bank for OpenAI. It's also unlikely at this point that the court would intervene and try to rewind the restructuring that OpenAI has already completed because the attorneys general for California and Delaware have already signed off on that. So it's true that at this point, the outcomes from the case are unlikely to be sort of existential for either party. But I think it's interesting, first of all, like you said, because of the treasure trove of evidence that's coming out in the case. I mean, really interesting first-person accounts from people who were involved in the negotiations that led Sam Altman to be fired from OpenAI in 2023 and then eventually reinstated. So it's a real look inside the room where those conversations were happening. It's also an interesting gauge of public opinion. I mean, what is a jury in Oakland, California going to think about Elon Musk versus Sam Altman? I mean, which of those sides is a jury going to be more sympathetic to? I think it's hard to say. So it will be
Yeah.
interesting how a trial plays out.
And it'll give great fodder for the TV show that inevitably
Sure will.
comes of it at some point, I think. Well, Rocket, I'm sure you are excited because if you were at the courthouse yesterday, if it's going to trial, I take it you will be covering the trial on the ground then
I
whenever
sure
it
hope
does
so.
play out.
Yeah.
Great. Well, it'll be a fun one to play out. Rocket, I want to thank you for coming on. That is Rocket True, our AI and robotics reporter
Thanks,
here
Akash.
at The Information.